Greetings and welcome. This is Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you are doing well. I'm guided by Spirit, and welcome to the new series. And let's just get some of the dirty laundry out the way. Trigger warning: the subject matter is of a mature nature and deals with historical events involving ancient portals, and who knows what has come down them or gone up. All cases are treated as alleged until proven in a court of law. Alright, so this is the episode 1 of historical portals. And given the current temperature, what's going around the world in 2025, as the old saying goes, maybe back in history we can find some answers. And of course, there's always been the speculation, there has been infiltration, and let's see what the numbers tell us. And Rome will be the first portal that we'll look at. And interestingly, October the 15th, 1582, I intentionally looked for when did the current calendar start? Because, of course, in my service, I'm using that current calendar. So I thought, let's go back and look at the origin story on October 15, 1582. The Gregorian calendar that we are currently using, not everyone in the world uses it, was obviously overseen and approved by the Vatican, and the sitting Pope at that time was Pope Gregory the 13th. So what I thought I'd do is Pope Gregory's date of birth, when he passed, and of course we have the date that he approved to switch the calendar. So to give you an idea of the calendar at the time, let me use this one. Bring it forward. October 1582, the Julian calendar, which was based on the Roman Julius Caesar calendar, came to an end on October the 4th, as you can see on this calendar here. And then the Gregorian calendar then commenced the next day, which was the Friday, but now it was relabeled the 15th, October 15. So that in itself is quite interesting. One could even say anomalous. So there's 11 days. I'm just going to keep this up. I believe that may be a clue, and I'll explain why. There's 11 days between the gap here. Now, if we go on 369 in terms of universal numbers, one complete cycle happens in 9 days. Okay? Then we've still got 2 days where they overlap. So, which is quite interesting, because if you recall my hurricane shows, I mentioned in there, I picked up a 48-hour gap. Because even if you look at today's calendar, and you go to the end of a month, and you look at what the outcome numbers are, and then you start the next month, and you compare the outcome numbers starting the next month, it's always 2 numbers out. So that is anomalous, and I mentioned that in the hurricane show. So yeah, in a way, we can say, well, perhaps we found where the 2 missing days originated from on the current calendar, which is actually what it is. Yeah is something anomalous, and I'll need to work this out going forward, because 9 days is a complete cycle, right? Which means, and I need to test it, but it is, in my opinion, and I'm sure some of you will agree, that we can't just, end a calendar, start a calendar. How does that work, right? What happens to that missing time, the missing energy? Or we can even surmise and say, what happened to, where are those missing 11 days? Okay, so I'll do further investigation into that. What I've done for the purpose of this episode is we've got October 4, when the Julian calendar ended, and we got the start of the Gregorian calendar, and we'll have a look at see what their profiles are. So like I say, and you can actually see, 3 is the outcome, but the next day has a 5. So there's that 2-day missing piece that I picked up in the hurricane show. We'll go deeper. So we'll look at each day from a 369 point of view, but I also want to do is see if we pick up anything else. This is now, if we had to continue the Julian calendar, this sequence of numbers here, up to where it would naturally end, should actually end on the 14th, so I'll include that when we get there. But just to see if we pick up any information that we might pick up already that we see here. To get the ball rolling, I want to just point out a few things here. Pope Gregory, born 7 January 1502. Here's his details here. Now, interestingly, so all we're going to do is look at anomalous and see if we pick up any information as well, right? So already here, when he was born, the day he was born, we've got a 8-8 conflict. Now, immediately I'm going to, and we saw this recently, isn't it? In the Hollywood Hills episodes, I think so. Where it was a 4 making an 8. But we have a similar situation here. Why would there be 2 biologies that make 1? It's a similar theme. In Hollywood, we saw 4 plus 4 in the Vampiri episode. 4 plus 4 gave us the 8. So it's 2 anatomies. But now we're talking 2 bodies here. Okay, we'll go further. Let's see. And by the way, if we take it on and I'll say it lightly for those that do deal with mental health issues, when you have a 8 plus 8 conflict here, it will also bring around mental health issues. And I keep using that same example of the guy that was running around the mall in Australia, right? That was a 8 day. So 16-7, so if we balance the episode and say, well, 16-7 technically is the priest. It's the higher human. In fact, you can even go and say, this is what I find interesting, 6 human, 7 being. So now we go human being. So he communicates with the higher ups upstairs. I mean, 16-7 is the psychic number. But if we had to tweak optics, it's also the Vampiri number. So when he was born, we have a problem again. In the intention, in the +3 of his date of birth, we see here a 1 + 1 conflict. So now we're talking about, you can say 2 individuals. We can say demon and human. We can say, because it's going to be a 19-10-1 later, here we have a conflict of ideals. So now we've got 2 biologies, 2 conflicts. In the middle of the +6, a 14.5. That's not good. And this is the issue we find even in contemporary and even back in the 80s. In fact, here's maybe even a good example way back when. That you have these men of cloth that have a 14.5. I wonder who said it was the Catholic priests. They're not allowed to get married. They've got to be celibate. They've got to be what, and then all the crimes against children come out. Because yes, 13-4 children. I would imagine in the positive, he would have been doing a lot of writing. 13-4, 22-4 manuscripts. In his +9, you see, well, here's a good example. 16-7, we've seen this before. Look what's in the middle. Look what the conflict is. Demon. Creature. 17-8. Now, don't compare your date of births. We are looking at high-profile, well-known ports. I've mentioned this in several episodes. For example, the events that took place in Paris, London. I thought let's include the Kremlin. There's some serious hives and shit going on there as well. And of course Rome. Rome is technically also a contemporary port for celebrities. Even Trump has been there. All the people have been to Rome. Why would they go to Rome? So far we've got 2 conflicts in his chart. And these aren't minor conflicts as well, by the way. If we had to give the benefit of the doubt and say, well, this guy's a priest, 16-7, okay, he's a priest. But there's a problem here. There's a conflict of numbers. So that already tells me there's an issue. Of course, we can try to figure out what the issue is, but I can tell you now, given the current temperature we're in, known portals, etc., and the people that inhabit these bodies, this 1910-1 is also a inception number. So come to tell us about something. So interestingly, what do we have here? The 10-1 family agenda. Context, we have a pope born in Italy, died in Italy, buried at the Vatican City. So the fact that he was buried at the Vatican City, he's authentic vampiri, but under the disguise of Pope. And if I'm upsetting a few viewers, just know I was raised Roman Catholic. I have taken my rose-tinted sunglasses off quite a while ago. There's actually an episode that I covered with the Vatican City on my channel about the missing Vatican girl. Go have a look, because I've got the contemporary Vatican date in that episode. So if you want to go more into the Vatican City, in the case of the Vatican City for this episode, because we're talking historic, ancient, the first verbal agreement that would essentially be part of and create what we know today as Vatican City, there was a key meeting date on 6 January 754. and Pope Stephen met Pepin the Short at the royal estate on 6 January 754. It's called the original promise. Well, it's called the promise, this meeting, because this was you can say, handshake, this is what's going to happen, the Vatican is going to be their own domain, etc., and so on. It took a few more years afterwards, but effectively this was the first listed official meeting of agreement. And we'll continue with that shortly. I wanted to just also bring up, here's another thing, don't ignore. Let's have a look here as well. The 25/7 in the +9 of his date of birth. 25/7. So as much as he's a man of the cloth as presented, he actually has conflict in who he serves spiritually, religiously. Isn't that ironic? So therefore it ties in with this 1 + 10, 1 conflict. That's a direct link. So he's got a conflict with ideals because half and half, or whatever, however they do it, but it certainly showed up on the universe. 10-1, 10-1, or 1-1 conflict. The individual has a conflict, and there's the conflict there, 25/7. What is the conflict about? Who he serves as his master. Interesting. So what I've done with the day that he passed, April 10, because it's always interesting. Of course, we can accept there's different customs and traditions. Time frame needs to be considered. What was the conscious level? But again, the beautiful thing about numbers, and what I've noticed, particularly when we go back in time, very clear. So interesting. Look, when he dies here, ladies and gentlemen, he has the conflict again. 10-1, 10-1 conflict. Something was wrong here. Something is wrong with this guy's, let's just say, combined origin story and departure story. There's too many conflicts here, and the conflicts are saying biology. So how can there be a biology problem back in 1585? So we'll find origins. So 14.5, he would have been, and there's another interesting point which I actually found with Tesla. For someone that was born pre-industrialization, lived for very, very long, and here we got someone born in the 1500s, miraculously lives at least 83 years. 83 years. Born in the 1500s. The holy water and wine must be very special behind these walls here. Vampiris. And at the time of his birth, because he probably didn't really die, but they have to move on, and bloody fish cakes. 33.6 sacrifice. See, even here in April 11, there's an 11.2. This guy's date of birth and is screaming something's very wrong here. 11.2 is something unlawful. So could this guy have been murdered? There is a 14.5 in the middle here, which can bring around the issue of foul play. There's foul play the night before, 14.5. Or let's put it this way, there's difficulties. Let's read more, let's see. Okay, here's an issue, 32.5. I've picked this up in ancient numbers now as well. The 32.5, 23.5, communities, breaking of communities. He actually may have passed here, actually. Yeah, here's a death, 13.4. Because look at all of these 10 ones here. That's not, in my opinion, that is not normal. So this was organizational consideration. Sorry, Henry, your time is up on this plane. Stand by for portal sequence. You're going back. This poor sod is going to live longer, double the life that what he would have normally lived, and people may get a bit suspicious if he went on to 145, 83 years this guy lived. Yeah, there it is there. 83 years. Wow. There's something very off about his birth and his death. Very odd. Oh. January 6. I don't suppose there's a significance around that. January 6. January 6, 754. My dear, look here. Who are we going to serve, ladies and gentlemen? Was the meeting. This was the meeting day. So if a client had to say to me, is this a good day to go have a meeting? And I'd say no. Because the day even ends in a 14.5. Bullshit in the air. So if you read on, and I found it in Wikipedia, we can go deep dive. The text goes on to say it took about 2 more years before things started turning properly. So here's evidence of that. Bullshit. So the 7s, we're talking about who we're going to serve. Where did I see his? So he's got the same issue here, 25.7. So let's go deeper. Look who's in the middle, ladies and gentlemen. The group. The group number. Coincidence or not? Look here, ladies and gentlemen. The Pope at the time, the group number. Farmed and fed whatever shit and grows up whatever. Disgusting creature. So 26.8, 17.8, ladies and gentlemen. Who are we serving? Who are we serving? Interesting, 13.4 in the middle. Yeah, that's not good. Wow, children. Look at this ghastly number here. So this meeting came with consequences as well, by the looks of it. So the outcome of the meeting, in the action, what happened on that day. There's a 29.11.2 issue here. Huh? And I'll tell you now, sacrifices, 16.7, look at, yes, look, triple 16.7s. This is sacrificial as well. And we got, unfortunately, a 13.4 in the middle of an action, which is not good, unfortunately. Triple 16.7s. He's got all the 16.7s. Remember, was it in the 16.7 was in the Scientology episode? All the three characters that are in the main involved, all were 16-7 heavy. Vampires. It's not to say if you got a 16-7 vampires. This is what I try to explain in the Kate show. I believe session 20. I've got a 16-7. I know a couple of other psychics that have 16-7. But I wasn't born and raised in Rome, and I'm not involved in the Pope and the Vatican, and I'm not involved in Hollywood and all that bullshit, right? So the likelihood of me being involved reduces. But when you get people, even around the world, different locations, and there's the common thread, it's becoming evident, and this is only like slide 1, ep 1, very distinct matches flying around. Excuse the pun. What did they say in Hollywood Hills? Things were flying around when the fire was going there. So 15-6. There's that famous 15-6. Put your hand up, Kate. Ladies and gentlemen, Kate is here. The number for Kate, 15-6. Now, of course, we know Vatican City has its history, but also they were instrumental in the current calendar many, if not most, people live by. Interesting. All right, so what is happening around the calendar change? So this is the last day of the Julian calendar, and this is the first day of the Gregorian calendar as we know it. Look here, Gregorian, 16 triple. Did we not just see, and the 15? Oh my God. I'm only up to, you can see there's a number of charts. When I do charts by themselves, or when I prepare a show, I do all of the legwork first because it's quite cumbersome. It's detailed. I need to be focused on that. So we got a triple 16-7. Look here on the meeting day. 15-6, triple 16-7. On the day of the new Gregorian calendar, 15s and the same 5s. Now let's ponder for a moment, because this is not a coinkydink. Let's ponder for a moment. It's the year 1582. We go back here. Some would say since the beginning of time, when God told his demons, get down there, motherfuckers, and cause havoc. But isn't it not interesting that we have the exact same number match almost the same amount of years later? There's bullshit in the air, ladies and gentlemen. Please forgive the free background sound effects. It is Saturday the 18th. It's approaching 2 minutes to 1 p.m. And we have found 700 years later, a direct match, even in the outcomes. Now, let me just say something here, because we're going to go dark and deep now, because something was just shown to me. let's go back to 754. This sequence here. Look at the 5s, 23, 5, 14, 5, 5. In the +9, of course, now we reveal the true nature, destruction. 32, 5, destruction. Purpose. We go to the first day of the new current calendar that we all work on, most. In the Gabby Petito case and in crime scenes, here's the destruction number. See how it's revealed now. 700 years later, we get the full revelation here. Do you see that? 32, 5, 23, 5. But now time has gone on. So time is telling us, look here, 41, 5. Vampiri are eating, destructing carcasses, mayhem around bodies. Hidden 25-7 issue. So we can now see with Vampiri numbers, and it's a conflict as well, eh? We've picked this up in the Beverly Hills 90210 shows, right? Here we're now back in time where source is a bit more clearer, less bullshit to interfere with, or that can interfere with the dates. Look what we're seeing here. And over time, we now reveal this 41-5. Oh, they're playing God. 18-9. Where did we see that? Kate. They're playing God. In the middle, inception number 19-10-1. These effectively will be the same now. Let's just check something here because that's just dawned upon me now. So you see how over time it reveals itself. Where there's a 10-1. 700 years later, it now shows itself as 19-10-1. Wow, wow, wow. Now what I've noticed particularly around government shows or politicians, when you have a hidden, because now they formed their hidden part now here. Because this number here in contemporary times I've noticed, 28-10-1 hidden is that backroom chatter. So already by 1582, they've established their operation here. That's why you'll see everyone, they must go to Rome, ladies and gentlemen. Hail Satan. Pope, who is it this time now? Hail Satan. Satan motherfuckers, says the Italian, raised Roman Catholic. Now I see clearly. Operation Full Swing 44-8, beg your pardon for the background noise. I always just say, as long as it's the right sounds coming from kids and not the wrong sounds. So they are happy by the sounds of it. 44-8, designed. Look at these ghastly 8s here. Ooh. 17-8 on the scene. I wonder if the Vampiris took over here, huh? I did check psychically for any warfare around this change, and I must say I did pick it up. And I'm not talking about warfare, swords and batons and all that shit. I'm talking spiritual, psychic warfare, universal warfare against Vampiri versus reptile. Look at all this hidden here. Look at here, guys. 13-4 again. It's present in Hollywood Hills, isn't it? These are the numbers we found in Hollywood Hills. These are the numbers we found in Hollywood Hills. 21-3. Another indication that something's not right. There's a manipulation. There's a forcing or forging of something together. Like here. And by the way, here's confirmation. They're forcing religion onto us. Religion and all that bullshit. Yeah, 34-7. There, hidden. They're forcing religion on us. If this is the calendar, and here's a number 31-4, hidden skeletons in the closet. And here is the number 33. So we'll continue the jewels one as well. So here it's reflecting hidden skeletons in the closet, right? So we go upstairs here to the Julian calendar, and on the day, look here, hidden. Now this is hidden, right? This would have taken place, hidden 33-6. So there were deaths and sacrifices made, and it's even been picked up here. I mean, there could have been more skeletons from the past, but there's reflections here. And 11-2, oh, by the way, that's the answer I was waiting for. 11-2, unlawful. There's a surprise. Universe is telling us it is unlawful. Again, it's telling us unlawful again. Here's that famous number we've picked up recently, 24-6. Families in the open here because there's no internet and CCTV cameras and mobile phones and recording devices. If Caesar says bend, we bend. So here's the family in the open. So the family may have its origins within the consoles of the bloody Vatican. 16-7, triple 16-7s at the Vatican, ladies and gentlemen. In ancient history. Again, of course, we have the conflict. So here is a number when I was putting out the numbers that alarmed me dramatically. Why on God's green earth would there be a 50-5-0 with a 5 outcome in a church? Because a 5-0-5 you don't want anywhere near children. 13-4. All the 4s here. Debauchery, sodomy, Babylon. Here's Babylon. Babylon. Roman portal, Babylon. 50. Now there's another messaging that I received about this 50 when I was putting out the charts, because we are dealing with 16-7s, vampiri. You'll remember in the, and you see we're not seeing, yeah, we're seeing it here. You see there must have been a changeover, because here's all the alien numbers. I was just about to say, I'm not seeing a 33, so there could have been a changeover, alien, vampiri situation, yeah. So, hive, remember I said 30 outcome 3 is hive. So, horde, I picked up the word horde when I typed out the 50 outcome 5. Horde. In other words, a group, a mass fucking group of vampiris. Hordes. 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 And then we have that 41-5, 32-5. Community, 23-5, 14-5. So in my opinion, another interesting discovery, 24-6 is the family number that's been hiding. But in 1582, everyone put away their tablets. And there we have it. So now this 5 also confirms demon. I said in the hurricane shows I picked up, there were 2 days missing. There's 2 days missing, hidden 2 days. And maybe that one we can refer to as the veil. But there's also a 9-day cycle. There's a complete cycle missing or hidden. So hopefully within the history series, looking at historical portals, of course we'll cover other stories as well in history, ancient. But since we are in the portal era, we start with historical portals. And we find in the change of the date and time, date, all by design, 44:8. Now, I'll answer this question now because I feel maybe someone or a couple of people are asking, and it's crossed my mind as well, working with numerology. And I'll just reinforce one more time, because we do operate in 9-day cycles. Now, this is why, here's the reason why I do the energy flow readings. It's because I picked up there was a 2-day gap. So, like for example, if we're at the end of the month, I will do an energy flow. It's continuum. Here's a good example of continuum here. When we look at so technically this calendar can be running in the background for all we know. Who knows? Maybe these people work on this calendar. Who knows? Because it also makes sense for me now. And I don't mean any disrespect to any practitioner as long as you're good in the light. If you work for dark arts, that's your problem. See you later. But I've noticed astrologers, and I'm talking about several on YouTube, where they have these portal days and there's portal this and light days this and this day and this day. When I look at the numbers, it's always 2 days off from a portal sequence. So we found the 2 days. I'm happy about that. The 9-day cycle is one complete loop. So I'll go deep on this. I want to investigate this because I think this is very important. It means there's a loop missing. Alternatively, what I picked up in the Hurricane show, and I'm no quantum physicist by any means, but you know the movie Interstellar. You recall the movie Interstellar, when the main characters on a particular planet equals 2 hours, is on another planet equals 10 hours, etc. You know what I mean? So here on, as we know it as Earth, is there a gap in the universe or cycle somewhere in the envelope or in the slit or in the join, you know what I mean? Where what we would refer to as 11 days would be a round trip to the planet hiding behind the sun, for example. Do you know what I mean? And there's a few days for stay over, meet and greet the family again, come back to Earth. Interesting. So the last day, as we know it as the Jules calendar, so there's a 14:5 in the middle of the day here as well. So 4 can bring around by instruction, 30 outcome 3, all about control issues, alien numbers, so confirmation, 17:8 alien number. There might have been a change of guard. Where have I heard that? Current US politics, change of guard. Talking about that, look who's in the middle here. 20 outcome 2 11-2, that's Trump. Well, Trump's numbers. So on the last day, as we know it, look what we have here again. 10-1, 10. See, conflict between the groupings. We picked this up in the 17-8 series, Hollywood Hills, motherfuckers. What's hiding in those hills, ladies and gentlemen? Guy came back for his Porsche during the fire, and I saw some CCTV footage of those fires, and I've never experienced that kind of thing, but the winds pushing those ambers all around. Wow. So here's a 10-1, 10-1 conflict in the current calendar. We have the 10-1 conflict in this gentleman's life as well. Here's the 10-1 in the Vatican City. So there's definitely change of feeding patterns happening here. And in the +9, we see a 39, 12, 3. I'm not liking these numbers, eh? We are seeing these numbers in the previous episodes, ladies and gentlemen. Hollywood Hills, London. Let's go again. London, Hollywood Hills, Paris. We're coming to you soon, Vladimir Putin. Don't worry, we're coming to you soon, Vladimir. I just want to see. So this is the linear sequence of numbers leading up to the change, October 4, and carrying on in a full situation, just to see. Yes, here we go. Here we go. Portal sequence. There's the portal. What would have been October 14. So let's check it out. October 8, if we use this calendar, October 8, so 6, 5, 6, 7, 8 would have been the 18th. Yeah. 18th. It would have been the day before on this calendar. Now you see those 2 days kick in. So we've got a portal sequence here, ladies and gentlemen. And look who's been brought in. Vampires. Look at all the vampiri numbers. So this was a change of guard, yeah. I believe it may be the other way around at this time zone. Weird, huh? A community member sent a message during the course of today, this morning. It may have been nighttime in the US. Standing in the middle of these two roads, and I mean, this shit's heavy, man. And that's why I put out the podcast immediately, because I felt when I got up the next day, I felt, even for myself, heavy. Even though my one part of the brain has investigated this from a, let's say, human aspect, journalistic aspect, now look at all of this here, portal, huh? You see, yeah, October 9, let's just see here, 6, 7, 8, 9. See, here's the day that would have been, or that is reflected in the new calendar. You see what I'm saying? This is also the reason why I discovered that it's also important to do a 72-hour scan. Do you see what I'm saying? That's where I get it from. Because I picked up an anomaly in the calendar, the current calendar. Like I said in my early videos, if you're not aware, I never went looking for numerology. I've always been psychic. I've always, and I've told you the reasons why. I'm very visual. So I just trust my own imaging and my images that I receive and messages, right? And when it just so happened that I came across a numerologist here in South Africa many years ago, who happened to come into one of my talk shows. And over time, I spent like 3-4 years just numbers, videos, and even editing. I was editing those videos as well. So each episode I'm listening to like 10 times, for example. Do you know what I mean? So all this shit is like tattooed in me. And 10-1 conflicts all over the place. Huh? So here's the group. We've now identified the family. The family is present here. Here's the family. Vampiri. So we've got the 24-6 group. And we've got a 10-1 group. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're onto something here. I'm glad I went this way in terms of looking at history, because another thing for the enthusiasts, and I've said it many times, but the further back we go in time, even in the 80s, even in the 70s, even in the 60s already, it's clear. So here's a portal sequence. The portal sequence, let's see, would have been on this October 17 to the new calendar. So there's a portal sequence in the new sequence as well. It's there on, it would be October 17, so you would have a 17-8. So if we had to use October 17, it's not here. October 17 will bring around the 9 in the middle. So when we have a portal sequence, and maybe let me do a refresher what a portal sequence is, if there's new viewers, and I keep saying portal sequence. When I was researching aliens and UFO sightings on my channel, not in my own capacity elsewhere, it was when I was working with numbers. I started recognizing that there is particularly 18-9, but when there's a 9 in the middle of the day, so 18-9 is the day number. So this is the number from sunrise to sunset, but it's referred to as the day number. So when we have a 9 in the middle of the day, we will always find a rack of same numbers. And what have been my same numbers? In this case, 7s. And the 7s belong to the 16-7 Vampiri group, right? When I found, when investigating UFO sightings, etc., abductions, within the zone, we always found a portal sequence. That is to say, authentic UFO sightings, etc., we will find a portal sequence here. Now, what happens here, in my opinion, and there's astrologers, etc., out there, but this is where you are at maximum energy, because it's a universal key number. I think I refer to it as a universal key, but it's 9 is the absolute highest number in numerology, excluding your power numbers. 9 is the Buddha number. 9 is the most powerful number, single-digit number. So you must understand how powerful this 9 is compared, even now when you go 11s, 22s, 33s, etc., right? And you got your 7s here. So this, for me, I mean, I'd love to do a bit of regression therapy, etc., and go deeper, because the sequence here always then brings out energy at its best. Or if you, those people living in the hills, working in the dark arts, living in the sewers, you will use it for negative. But I would say, in terms of travel, let's say time travel, it's here, 18-9, portal sequence, time travel. or I'm going to travel to my big planet hiding behind the moon. I still need to investigate it, but someone told me about it. We'll look at it. So interesting, because now someone's just mentioned, I believe, and I'm looking for 20 years, hidden 20 outcome 2. So here's a 20 outcome 2 year, because that's been a familiar number around as well. Water people. Sorry for the noise in the background. It's Saturday. Let the kids run around. Okay, here's a 20 outcome 2 number here as well. But in my opinion, I'm not convinced in these sequences that this is water people. It's not significant enough, and it's not that it's not significant. I'm saying there's not enough of them popping out at me. Do you know what I mean? To say, hey, this is the Avatar people. I see there's an Avatar 3 now. So first it was on land, then it was on water, now I see 3 is in hell. There's a fucking surprise. The never-ending story. So the 4th, so look at these big numbers here, 37, 10, 1. This is the Jules calendar still. There's higher ups involved. You see the 28, 10, 1s, 19, 10, 1s. Here's a 10, 1, 10, 1 conflict. So, you know, when you see a 10, 1, 10, 1 conflict anywhere, it's big. It's a big issue. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching real time and you've been watching the recent 17-8 shows, I recommend you watch those. There's a playlist. It's also a podcast, 17-8. If you really want to go even deeper, watch all the Kate Middletons. Because if you combine the Kate Middletons, the 17-8, so 17-8 has been mainly US. We're starting to see similar participants on the stage here of the same background. And demons aloft, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this inaugural episode. And I'm going to go deeper. We're going to, a community member pointed out, I should get some kind of app. I'm going to do a world map for the series, I think. We'll build a world map where we can pinpoint the obvious historical portals like Rome, Paris, London, and so on. And then we'll also look for the not so obvious ones, because when I did the Vampiri show, there was another country that was mentioned in the comments. I did take a screen grab and got it on my to-do list folder. We'll look there as well. And all the not so obvious places, we'll look for portals, right? And we'll mark them around the world. So I do hope you did enjoy this. And please stay blessed, stay alert. Peace, love, and harmony. Bye for now.